and welcome to your favorite international competition, Miss Nexus 2016. This year's theme, religion.
We're your hosts, Julia Pilch and Nicole Mealy. We're grading the girls on charisma, content, and her historical accuracy. This show isn't just about a pretty face, girl.
Now, let's meet our two finalists. First, we have Miss Sarajevo. Miss Sarajevo enjoys long walks down the winding streets of her beautiful city and admiring the gorgeous mountain landscapes from her favorite place, the Yellow Bastion. Now, we have Miss Seville. This beauty enjoys tapas, horseback riding, and volunteering. Her most recent charity helps lost tourists navigate the confusing streets of the old city.
Ladies, let's talk about individuality and community. Religion is often a large part of a person's life. Once the members of the faith receive their inspiration from God, they form communities of believers. These communities form cultures of their own, and individuals within those communities can either be completely adherent to the community's values or they can forge their own way. This is especially apparent in secular societies where individuals have even more freedom of expression. Now we'll hear our opening statements on this topic. Ms. Sarajevo?
Well, Julia, I like to believe that our recent war that spanned from 1992 to 1995 over land and resources was cloaked by religion. Different groups of people believed that their religion was better and that God was on their side, so their people should have ownership of the country and its resources. The Islamic, Christian, Orthodox, Catholic, and Jewish extremists of each community did not accept each other's differences and did not believe the other communities would accept their values and beliefs. You can see the devastation because of this as you walk through the streets, passing by huge Islamic cemeteries and memorials such as the Izbith Gothic tomb at the Kavachi Cemetery. Now these religious groups coexist in a tense but peaceful religious environment.
Great answer, Miss Sarajevo. Now let's move to Miss Seville. Miss Seville, what do you have to say about this?
Nicole, the best way to describe individuality and community in Spain is through the boundaries that were created there between religions.
Let's get real. Being an individual is difficult. It's just harder to be accepted and easier to be like everyone else. So people don't work through their differences, they just exclude those who are different. This was used to create communities all throughout Europe, and Sevilla is no exception. I mean, we have synagogues and mosques that were converted into cathedrals when the Jews and the Moors were completely kicked out of the country during the Spanish Inquisition in 1492.
This was done to create a cohesive Catholic community in Seville by eradicating the land of anyone who was different, the Jews, or seen as an other individual.
Wow, great historical accuracy.
Talk about different walks of life. Let's move on to the fashion portion. Ms. Sarajevo, tell us a little bit about Bosnian fashion.
Sarajevo's history with war has preserved its religious identity by creating a push towards traditionalism. Secularization has affected the dress of the region, specifically in Muslim women. Muslim women typically cover up as a sign of respect to God and adhering to standards of modesty as stated by the Quran. Many Muslim women in this area have westernized their dress in an attempt to express their individuality, wearing hijabs only when entering the mosque to pray or simply wearing a hijab instead of a full burqa.
So how can you relate to that personally?
Well, I have a friend whose mother dresses in a full burqa to engage in modesty, but my friend chooses to wear only a hijab and more westernized clothing. There's really been a big push in couture, though, to cater to the needs of Muslim women. Dolce & Gabbana recently created a collection of hijabs and abayas, so it's getting easier to purchase traditional Muslim attire. Muslim women are becoming a larger target market, especially since the Muslim community is projected to spend about $484 billion by 2019 in the clothing industry alone.
Awesome! It's crazy how secularization has allowed so many people to explore their individuality. Well done! Ms. Seville, can you explain the history of fashion in Spain?
Julia, the history of fashion in Spain goes way back to the invasion of the Moors.
The Moors came to Spain in the 700s and brought vast textile knowledge with them. They created beautiful garments and fabrics for the Spanish, especially from silk and cotton with ornate embroidery. When the Spanish pushed the Moors out of Spain, they allowed only the Moors who were artisans to stay. However, they forced them to create ornate garments for the Catholic Church. This created a huge internal struggle for the Moors, who had to go against their Islamic faith to make these pieces, making them question their individuality.
Did they want to conform to Catholicism and join the community, or continue on as Muslim and be pushed out of the community?
Wow, great facts! As you can all see, even today, the Spanish fashion has been influenced by the beautiful colors and brilliant embroidery of the Moors. Give us a twirl, Miss Seville.
Now let's move on to the bathing suit portion of our competition. Oh, what's that? Oh, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that portion of our competition has been canceled due to technical difficulties.
Oh well, let's go on to the final portion of the night, architecture. Ms. Sarajevo, tell us a little bit about architecture and the influential buildings in your city.
Sarajevo has a rich history of religions, and interactions between them have shaped architecture and culture for years. The city was and is mostly a Muslim area, but has been accepting of other religions such as Judaism and Christianity. The mixing of these communities has been made apparent in the architecture of religious buildings, such as the mosque-like decorations in the Jewish synagogue. Religion is still a crucial aspect of Bosnian culture after their recent war, but even in this seemingly authentic town, secularization has an effect. Mosques and churches offer tours, sometimes even during prayer times. Anything different has become an opportunity for a tourist attraction, and mosques and churches are no exception.
Sounds like a unique community of different religions. Now let's hear from Seville.
The Seville Cathedral is the third biggest in Europe, and it is a really big source of pride for residents.
Seville is pretty good about closing for religious holidays, so the city is able to pay respect to religion while still having an active tourist presence. The city comes together on these religious holidays to celebrate. For example, recently, the holiday of Corpus Christi was celebrated through a procession around the cathedral that ended in a huge mass within the church. Being inside that building is different for everyone.
We are all participating in a unified worship, but the high, elaborate ceiling draws the individual up, fostering a personal relationship with God.
I can see how a celebration like that can make a community so strong. Thank you both for such detailed answers about the architectural and fashion influences in your home cities. Okay, it's time to add up the results.
While our judges are deliberating about which of these two beautiful ladies will win, we are talking to some people out on the streets to see what their culture and religion is really like.
Being in Sarajevo has made me understand the strong sense of community that is there now because of the outcomes of the war. The people sort of realize that their religions aren't opposites, so all the people there have the same goal. And the outsiders don't really realize the value of the community that's sort of peaceful there now because the news media creates an impression that Sarajevans have no life other than starving, shivering, and dodging their snipers' shells and bullets. And the city's beautiful, and the residents have a really rich history outside the war, so.
And now a completely random person on the streets of Seville.
Like, oh my god, Sevilla has been taken over by tourists. Like, literally. They were so annoying, and I had to stand in line behind a sweaty guy for like 2 hours. You can definitely see that culture is being preserved through the merchandise sold in the stores being centered mostly on flamenco and bullfighting. And I was able to witness the Corpus Christi. Like, oh my god, the celebration was so beautiful. It's so obvious that Catholics have all the power. There are crosses and paintings of Mary and Jesus all over the streets. And the bells are so loud, I think I can still hear them. I really like being a tourist in Sevilla, and I even got to ride a horse. After much deliberating, a winner has finally been selected. I have the results right here.
Our winner has demonstrated through charisma, historical accuracy, and answer content that they have all the qualities that reflect the Miss Nexus title.
And the winner is
Drum roll, please.
Phil T-Meyer! Oh, what a truly beautiful Nexus individual. He really brings the community of Nexus students together.
Phil understands that religion, which is an important part of an area's culture, creates opportunities for people to come together and form communities.
As secularization has taken root, people have begun discovering themselves as individuals within their religion. As our lovely ladies have shown, individualism has led to changes in architecture and fashion around the world.
Thank you to all of our wonderful sponsors and finalists for this year's competition of Miss Nexus 2016. That concludes our program. Thank you for watching.